Right, so this is one that I've been meaning to get to for quite some time. I picked this guy up earlier this year. I forget exactly when, but it was several months ago as of this recording. And I am finally getting around to making a video on him. And the main reason I hadn't until now is because this is Fans Hobby's Double Agent, which is their version of Double Dealer, which means he is a triple changer with two different tiny robot transforming accessories. So it's just a lot to go over, and I've been putting it off. And I actually made it worse for myself by putting it off. You'll see why in a minute. But yes, this is Double Agent, and he is Double Dealer, and I think this figure is fantastic. Now, I'm one of those weirdos who actually really like Earthrise Double Dealer, but this is also really cool. Like, I feel like objectively this is the better figure, but, you know, they both do different things, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, as you can probably tell, let me get these two fellas out of the way here. As you can probably tell, I went with the, I can't remember if this is A or B, but I went with the design that has the green wings with purple trim rather than purple wings, because I felt like this looked better in vehicle mode. In hindsight, I probably would have been okay with the purple wings, especially because they would look a little bit more impressive in bird mode, but it's fine, and it does make the vehicle mode look pretty cohesive with the same kind of greenish color going all the way back into this little section up here. Also, as you can see, it rolls quite well. Now, I do not have Reaper labels on this guy. What I actually did was I put these stickers on that came with the figure. So I've got some stickers here, and there's some in the front here, some here and here. There's one on the missile, and there's some others that we'll see in robot mode. But yeah, it's got stickers on him, so he's not exactly stock. But again, these are stickers that are included with the figure. So anyone who buys this figure could also apply these stickers. You don't have to like pay separately for them or anything like that. Now, the missile truck, it looks pretty cohesive. The issue I have with it is more in terms of utility as a toy, not like as an actual missile truck. I mean, like I said, it rolls really well. The detailing is really nice. I love all of these little light green accents on the darker green, and the little cockpit section is fun because you can incorporate Knock, or whatever this guy's actual name is, in there, which we'll see in a little bit. Love the silver and red combo on the wheels, and that added lining it's actually molded into the plastic, but it is also painted, these lines going through here and even around the back. And it, it comes together really well. It hides a lot of the robot junk, and it's a good-looking vehicle mode. The thing that bums me out about this is the way they handled the missile. And I imagine it's because of, just prioritizing like the transformation and the robot modes and bird mode and all that. But what disappoints me about it is the missile is only attached right here. There's this little peg that folds out from the missile, and it just pegs in right into that spot there. And the reason that disappoints me is because, as you can see back here, there's just nothing back here that allows the missile to attach. So you can't do the thing that I feel like most Double Dealer toys kind of should do, which is you can't just like angle the missile up. It doesn't work because this isn't attached to anything back there. It just pegs in there, and it holds in well. Like, you turn it upside down, it's not, it's not going to shake out. I wouldn't pick it up by this because it's not going to support the weight, but but it's just disappointing that you can't tilt the missile back. Instead, what you can do is kind of an impromptu missile launching setup, where if you disconnect this and fold these panels, all four of these panels out, and then come to the underside here, there are these bits here that fold out on both sides. And it folds out. And I find that you want to have them kind of like this. They're on a double hinge, so you can flatten them out more, but I find it works best stability-wise to kind of accordion them out like that. Then with those out, you rotate these sections in. You can see these little grooves on the ends here. Those will line up with the notches on the end of the rocket. Also, you can hold that tab in. So basically, you put this down, and then get the rocket lined up, and it just kind of settles into those grooves. And then you can fold these added panels in to kind of support the. Oh, I had it sideways. You want it this way. There we go. Then you can fold these in to kind of further support the missile, and that gives you the missile launching configuration for the truck, which is fine. I appreciate the fact that this is an option. It's just disappointing to me that you actually have to like take stuff apart and kind of partially transform it in order to do something as simple as move the missile so it's not just pointing straight forward. It just seems unnecessarily complicated, and I feel like there has to have been a way for them to get something in there for this to like attach and hinge up and down, but it doesn't do that. Alright, so we're going to fold all this back in because I've got more to talk about, because we still have to talk about the little power masters that come with this guy. Fold this tab out. Okay, we're going to be difficult. Fine. Fine, we'll use the spudger. Come on. Seriously? Do not need this right now. This video is going to be long enough. Why are you like this? There we go. Okay. Slap that back on there and move this off to the side so we can look at the other fellows, and we are real quick going to take a look at Skarr first. And it's a Vans Hobby Power Master. It's the same deal as all of the others, it's just the molding is different. You can see some of the molded detail on like the chest and the legs and the feet and all that. It's got bat ears, a blue face, wide wingspan. I kind of wish you could do more with the wings. You can kind of like fold them forward like this, but you can't fold them like, you can't really fold them forward past. Zoom out so you can actually see what I'm doing. You can't actually fold the wings out like, you can't fold the wingtips forward, so you can't like wrap his wings around his torso, which is kind of a disappointment, because this hinge just stops there, and this hinge stops there, so you can make the cohesive bat wings, you can fold them back like this, and that's as good as you can do. So that's a little bit of a shame. But you do have the typical Vans Hobby Power Master articulation. The head can rotate, the shoulders are on ball joints, so you can kind of do a little bit of butterfly motion and like sort of bicep swivel. You can come out, though the head gets in the way. Rotate forward. You've got kind of not great elbow bend, but like these things are tiny and they're accessory pieces, so that's not really a problem. And the hips are also on ball joints, so you get a little bit of in and out, you get some forward and backward because of that added hinge, you get thigh rotation, you get pretty decent knee, and yeah, and of course Skarr has the wings. And around back you can see his little engine thingy. And if you want to do something that's more like traditional Skarr rather than being a humanoid Batman, you can partially transform him. So you just straighten out the arms, rotate the legs inward, and then that little hole will go around the fist. And this comes up, and this pegs into the shoulder. And same on the other side. And you could just do this, and that's, you know, it's not perfect, but it's more of a traditional Skarr look. And bring in Power Prime's Skarr, so you can see the differences there. And the wingspan on this guy is much, much wider. But yeah, that is Skarr. And Nock is more or less the same deal, just molded differently, and he doesn't have wings. Coloring is good. Molding is good. It's just a little robot man. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this guy. It's pretty much the same deal as Skarr, just different molding. Same articulation with the head rotation, though it's a little bit harder to manage because of all the junk around, and like Skarr has like a lower back, so it's easier to reach the head, plus he's got the big ears you can use as leverage, whereas Nock does not. But yeah, articulation's the same. And transformation into engine mode is just exactly what happens with Skarr, where you just plug the fists into the backs of the legs and plug the ankles into the shoulders, and there you go, and now he is an engine. And if you want to turn Skarr into his engine form from his regular bat mode, you just fold back the wings, and there you go. That is it. Now these two are both engines. Now, the incorporation with the vehicle. I'm going to start with the thing that disappoints me the most first, and that is there's no place to store Skarr in vehicle mode well. Like, you can obviously just like put him somewhere, but like there's no official, that I'm aware of at least, and not that I could find, place to store him. And the reason that really bugs me is because there's a place to store Nock. If you look on the back here, there are these little peg holes on these flaps that are the same shape as these little pegs on Nock's legs, and you just peg him into there, and he just stores on the back like that. It's a little strange, but like you could store him there, which is great. But the thing that really bugs me about this is he has another place he can go in vehicle mode. And also, if you notice, Skarr's pegs are not shaped the same, and they can't even work. Like, they're just shaped slightly differently enough that you cannot peg Skarr into these flaps. Like, the dimensions just aren't the same. They do not peg in. And that bugs me so much. There was no reason for these pegs to be so drastically different. Like, even if they wanted to do different shapes, they could have done that, but just make these tabs fit these sections on, like, the larger sections on the side here, so you could still peg him in. That would have been perfect. Just store Skarr back there. Why? Why did they... It's such a frustrating thing. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. Now, there's one other thing we can do with Nock, so I'm just going to turn him into his robot mode really quick. And then we're going to do the fun thing. So, I'm going to pop this off real quick. And we're going to have Nock drive the truck. So, what you want to do is take this panel here and pop it up. It's on a double hinge, but it also has a rotational joint, so you can pop it up, spin it around, and then lay it back down like this to kind of keep it flush and out of the way. And that gives you a space to put Nock. But you kind of need to untransform this a little bit just to get the angles that you need, because you have to like kind of thread the legs through and make some adjustments. Like, these pegs make it a little wide, so I find what's easiest to do is rotate the legs to feed them through that hole, because that way they actually fit. You can kind of see that they fit better that way. Then once they're through the hole, you can rotate them back, and then fold them forward, and then he will fit into the thingy with no problem. And then you can just bring his arms down, do that. And now there's a little knock driving the truck, and that is adorable, and I absolutely love that. And it's one of my favorite things about this figure, in addition to a lot of other things it does that are cool. But again, like, knock can go there, so it would make so much sense to be able to plug Skarr in back here, or even do like a, old school toy thing and have him able to attach back here. But nope, can't do that. Can't do that. It's so frustrating. Anyway, I think that is enough of that. So let's get set up here for size comparisons, because this is a fan's hobby figure, so it's a bit big. Let's bring Skarr back in here, and we'll transform Skarr back into his humanoid form, because we want to do size comparisons with the other figures. Like Knock and Skarr they're the same height. Skarr just has the wingspan. But there we go. So there we have our double agent team. Now we can bring in our regular size comparison folks. Now, you may notice an absence of Rotor Storm. I do still have Rotor Storm. I just decided that things were getting kind of cluttered on screen to try and like jam Rotor Storm in all of there. So I've taken Rotor Storm out of the rotation. He's still wonderful. I still have him and will still continue to hang on to him for quite some time, but he's just out of the size comparison rotation because Ova Prime's like the same height as a regular Robot Mode Deluxe, or a tall Robot Mode Deluxe from like the main line. But anyway, there is how Double Agent and his machines measure up to standard size comparisons. And we've got some other things to cover because, yeah. So, I mentioned it briefly, but we're going to bring in Earthrise Double Dealer, so you can see how much bigger he is there, and also bring in Knock and Skarr. So there they are. So that's how all that measures up. And hey, look what Earthrise Double Dealer can do. Yeah. I know it's a silly thing to be this salty over, but I am really salty about it. And now, before we bring in the most important size comparison, there is one other comparison I want to make, and this is what I alluded to earlier about making this more complicated for myself because I waited. That's because we're actually also going to be taking a look at Fans Hobby's Huntsman figure, their version of Euro G1, I think that's what the term is for it, Stalker. Yes, I was able to get this guy, and this thing is glorious. Also, he has his own little Power Master. You can see there, it's just the Knock figure, but in this gaudy pink and blue with like gold highlights and toxic green for the visor. But it's the same exact figure as Knock in different colors, and I love him. So yeah, Stalker, and we'll look at him in a bit more detail in a minute. But for now, I'm going to get him out of the way here and bring in the most important size comparison of the video, that is the duct tank. Okay, so let's get these out of the way. We'll bring them back when it's time for transformation. But real quick, here is Huntsman with the little guy hanging out in the driver's seat, just like before, and yeah, I love that. Now, this figure it's the same as Double Agent, but also different. Let me get this guy out of here. Just wanted to show we could do that. So yeah, it's the same but different in that the molding is a little bit a little bit changed in a few places, and you also get some different accessories and some different detailing, as you can probably see just looking at it right here. You've got a lot of green missiles. Comes with 8 total green missiles that you can put 2 on each of the wheel wells, not wheel struts. And yeah, you can plug them in, and they add. It's like they don't technically add much, but they add a lot. Because I just love the added pop of like nuclear green. Because you've got a similar green on some of the detailing in a few key places on the vehicle mode, but this green is just a little bit more vibrant. But beyond that, you can see it's a lot of the same stuff. You get a little radar dish now that can plug in on the back here, and the missile is this enormous thing. It's the same size as the other one, but I love this translucent green tip. It's so extra. Same complaints as before, though, where you can't angle the missile back or anything like that. And the molding, there are some elements of this figure that are just not the same as with Double Agent here. Like, molding-wise, you can see, or not molding-wise, deco-wise, you can see there's this nice circular gold pattern on top of the hatch here that is not on Double Agent. Also, you can see how Double Agent covers up a lot of the stuff going on back here, whereas Huntsman does not, because just those flaps aren't there, because Huntsman doesn't have a bird mode, so it doesn't need the wings. I believe they probably left this on mostly for just being able to clean up the back a little bit and hide the arms, because realistically speaking, these don't serve any purpose in robot mode. Yeah, let's see, what else can I talk about on this guy? Love the colors, and love the detailing. It's a cool figure, and I really like this version of it, but like, I also really like Double Agent, and Double Agent can turn into a bird, so I don't really mind having the 2 different figures, because this is a very limited release convention exclusive that I was very lucky to be able to get off of the Chosen Prime when they put it up for sale, because that was, anyone who tried to get one, it was a thing. It was a debacle, and it's kind of a miracle that I managed to get this. But yeah, it was an ordeal to get this, but like, I'm really glad to have this, and I don't want to get rid of it, but I also don't want to get rid of Double Agent, because I really like Double Dealer as a design, and also, as I said, this does not have bird mode. What it does have is a limited edition number. So basically, because these are limited edition figures, you get numbers assigned. They have numbers assigned to them based on their production in the line. I think they made like something like 600 of these total. I can't remember the exact number, but by pure luck, I managed to get one of the 2 most coveted numbers in the set. You can find out what number it is on the underside of the little hatch here. But I'm sure you all know what the 2 most coveted numbers are. Oh, also, it's really like there's this nice little detail of a molded control console there. The Double Agent has that too, and it's also painted in silver. But anyway, yeah, that's the number I got. Nice. And yes, there you can see it's out of 600. Yeah, I am the one who got that one, for anyone who's curious. And with the missile off, you can see too, like, we'll see more in robot mode, but the chest design is a little different. But yeah, Huntsman is cool, and we will look at him in more detail later on. We will not be looking at him when we do bird mode, because he doesn't have bird mode. Speaking of bird mode, it is time to transform Double Agent into his bird mode, and I'm hoping I can do this well, because I haven't touched this toy in a minute, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to remember all of the steps, but we'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm going to take this off and get all this out. And while I'm doing all of this prep work, let me just say that if you like this video for whatever reason, or any of the other videos that I've done on the channel, and you want to support me, I do have a Patreon. It's just a single $1 tier, and that $1 a month gets you early access to new videos, in addition to access to the occasional, I don't do them regularly, but occasional Patreon-only video. Like I did an unboxing video on Patreon a while back that was like that's just a Patreon thing. Nobody else outside of Patreon is going to see that. So yeah, if you're interested in the very rare occasional Patreon exclusive content, or you just want to support the channel, there is that. Or if you'd rather support the channel in a way that doesn't involve money, which I completely understand, you could always do the typical YouTube thing of like, comment, share, subscribe, that kind of thing. Okay, so as I said, we're gonna try and do bird mode first, because I just want to. So to start, going to actually first thing I'm gonna do, because I don't want to forget, is untap these bits back here that we used for the missile thing. Also, Huntsman can do that too, with these things coming out and like folding back to do the little missile launching thing. And Huntsman also has these, so you can peg the Power Master on the back. Anyway, I'm going to unfold all this. Now we're going to take all of this stuff apart. And these tab in here, so you want to untap that. Then these bits tab in on the other side here, so you kind of want to wiggle that out so you can untap that. Then you can fold this out, rotate this out of the way, bring this down, and this tabs in here, so you also want to untap that. And now we've got all that unfolded. Let's do the same thing here. So tab that and fold all that out, swing that around, and we'll just we'll deal with the wings later. Now comes the fun part, trying to remember how all this other stuff goes. Okay, first thing from here is want to untab these bits. They kind of do this little trapezoidal tab thing there, so you want to untab them from there, swing that out and out of the way. Then want to untab these bits. It's hard to see, but there's like a little tab in here that these tab into. You can kind of, well, we'll just untab it and deal with it later. So untab those, split this thing down the middle, and now before extending things, you want to, do we want to? No, I don't think we need to. Okay, never mind. But you do want to split this. Okay, so once this is untabbed, which again, it's hard to show, but you can kind of just barely see the tab there, you want to push here and pull this section out this way, because this is on like a little slider. So just kind of pull that out and slide that out, and it seems to have gotten caught. There we go. Okay, slide that out like that. Now this folds around like so. This can kind of angle out a bit, and you want to, essentially this whole thing spins around like that. This all folds back around like that and pegs it together there. And I cannot for the life of me remember which orientation this is supposed to be in for bird mode, but we still have to do the legs, so I'm gonna just pull this out of the way because we want to bring this out a little bit so we can rotate it. Just rotate that around, and this should swing up like that. There we go. And yeah, okay. I think this is the orientation you want it for bird mode. So, swing that out of the way. This can just stay here. And then we'll keep this out for now. And around back, I want to take this piece, fold that out, and this little piece here will fold out, and that'll form part of the bird tail. Now it's the same deal here. You want to slide this out, fold this in, and this is something I really love. Like, what this does is this makes the robot mode feet. This is a transformation process on this figure that is my favorite aspect of the whole thing. Because when you slide this out and you fold this around, what's extremely clever is this piece here settles into this cavity here. So with that in place, it prevents this from sliding back in. And once that's prevented from sliding back in, you also have these bits that fold around and straighten out like that. And then when this all accordions back around and comes together, not only does it make a foot, but like this is all locking this together. So it's doubly secure in making sure that the foot cannot collapse under its own weight. Like, its gravity is actually keeping it pressed together and locked together, so it's just impossible for it to slide back in until you're transforming it. That is so clever and so smart. Anyway, click that out again, rotate this around, and rotate that around. There we go. Now, bring that around, fold that out, and then we just click the legs back together, and this little section here will actually, it's a perfect fit for the cockpit, or whatever you want to call it. So once all that's together, you can peg this together and it will actually fit, which is really cool. And there we go. There we have the back section of the bird. I need to, I think I need to readjust this because this guy's getting kind of big. Okay. With all that done, now we can take these struts back here and fold those up, and also rotate this. We want to get this stuff kind of up and out of the way, because we need to do the robot mode arms. So I'm going to hinge this out. This is on a double hinge. You want to hinge it out and rotate this around, I believe. These will rotate around, and do they? I'm trying to remember, because like I said, it's been a minute since I've transformed this guy, but these should rotate around like this. And I believe you want them like that. I think, if I remember correctly, there's no real, like, definitive, this is how the arms settle in for bird mode. I don't think. So, yeah, bear with me here. Rotate this around and rotate this around, and then hinge this up. And you just want it straight. You don't want it like folded all the way in. Like, you want this double hinge just straightened out. So like that, and just angle that down. And I think that's how you orient that. I may be wrong, but it just, yeah, this figure does have some downsides in that there aren't super solid locking points in all modes. Also, you want to take this flap, pull that down, and we'll just put this back up again. Okay, now this section will slide out a little bit and rotate around. You also want to rotate this around. And I think I messed up. Okay. Get this out of the way. See if we can salvage this. There we go. Okay. So just to make room, rotating this off to the side so that this can swing around fully when that comes forward. And then we can do the same on this side. So pull that out, rotate it all the way around. So that's down. There we go. Now we're going to bring this back in. And this should be good enough for the bird. So let's do all that. Okay. Now the bird legs are a little bit interesting. You can actually slide these down and they click. And that will extend the legs. This is also necessary for the robot mode, but we just leave them extended when we go into the robot mode. But extend and click. Then we want to, let's see. I'm trying to remember this one because it's like kind of tricky and counter to what you would think. So basically, yeah, that's what it is. So rather than pulling this out like you think you need to do, you actually want to push it in. When you push it in, it allows you to rotate this entire thing around. That folds out and becomes the heel. Then this folds out and this little piece folds out, become a toe. And there is one of the bird feet. And same deal here, just push that in so we can rotate this whole thing around, flip out the heel, flip out a foot, and flip out toe or talon. And there we go. There are bird legs. Okay, almost there. So the wings, you want to bring these back, and they kind of settle into place here. They don't lock in as securely as I'd like, but they do settle in. Then flip them down. This piece can actually straighten out on that double hinge so that it's just flat, and then rotate this in a bit, and straighten out this. There's this piece on the underside here. You want to unfold that and straighten that out. So you start to get something that's looking a bit like a bird wing. This piece here is folded up for the vehicle mode, so it can like tuck in and close things off. You want to flip that up, flip this down, flip this around, and this will peg in right in here. Just gotta kind of mess with this double hinge up here to get it to line up, but there you go. And then this tip folds down to give you a more or less proper bird wing. And there's some like mild, small managing to do with some of these double hinges and stuff, but for the most part, you are done. There is the bird wing, and it's the same deal here. So just put that in, straighten that out, straighten that out, straighten that out, fold that around and straighten that out, fold out that little piece, tab this section together, fold that out and fold that out, and the whole wing can just come back down and settle onto the back. And we are almost done. Last thing, I want to take, if it's come undone, like it does peg in for the vehicle mode, but it may have come undone, which it did in my case, but you want to tab this piece into here. Tap that in. Then this piece will flip out, and that will give us the bird mode head. And there we go. There, I'm reasonably sure, is Fans Hobbies Double Agent in bird mode. And oh boy, this thing is big. Okay, I think I need to readjust these. There you go. Get them a little bit more balanced. Okay, so there is Double Agent as a bird, and oh boy, this bird. It's a very double dealer bird. It's just kind of a mess, but it comes across as it needs to. The head is nicely done. It's got some nice detail that's interestingly enough only revealed in this mode. Like this detail here, it's actually painted and you only see it in bird mode. So that's cool. And this is kind of what you could, what I was talking about before with this version of the figure where the wings are green with just the purple tips. This, I think, looks fine and it works well, particularly for the vehicle mode. But in bird mode, it does look a little bit less spectacular as the all-purple wings. But I'm glad that Fans Hobby gave you the option. The thing that kind of disappoints me is the purple is only on the backs of the wings, not the bottoms. So like if you wanted to have them, swooping in and get like an angle from underneath, it's just this. Also, the articulation is a bit limited in bird mode. Like the wings have a lot, as you could clearly see, like we saw with all those hinges and stuff. But and the head is on a ball joint, so you get a little bit of, you get the rotation, you get some up and down, left and right, which is good. But like you can't really do much with the legs. There's no rotation anywhere, and you can kind of angle them a bit, but like these can't go forward any more than this, so you are limited there. And I don't know, it just seems like maybe things could have been handled a little bit differently with the bird legs, but it's one of 3 modes, and realistically I feel like this isn't even necessarily the one that most people are going to be like, yeah, that one. So it is what it is. Now, can do stuff with the missile. Let's see here. So this tab here, you notice there's a kind of like a bit of a thing on the end where like the narrow part tabbed in on the vehicle mode, but then you've got this wider bit. The wider bit sits inside here. So you can push this in, and there's actually a little spot right back here for this tab to settle into. It doesn't like tab in back there, but it settles in, and that gives you the bird with the big missile thing on it. And I believe there's another thing you can do with the maybe not. So I was thinking these tabs here, which you can't even see, these tab slots here on the forearms, I was thinking maybe you could plug, like sandwich this bit in there, but the angles just don't work. Like maybe if you rotate this around, that could maybe? Let's try that. So this may even be what you're supposed to do with the, yeah, you know what? This is probably what you're supposed to do with the bird mode, is have the arms rotated back around this way. But anyway, so with those tabs there, I'm going to, first of all, pull this apart. So you can, it does that, as of course it does. And then I'm going to try and sandwich this into those tabs there. Which I thought, yeah, it does fit. Okay. So it's not a great fit, but it does fit. So get that in there. I can just get it on the other side. So it's tricky to do when I can't see. There we go. Okay. So that way you can have the just angle these. You may have also had to angle those, and I just didn't. But yeah, that way you can give the bird the little like bomb thing, and then this can settle in up there if you want. So you've got that going on. You can just settle it back there too if you want, but it's not super strong, as you can see. And yeah, that's not going to work. So there you go. You can do that, which is neat. I like that you've got options with this guy. And this mode is definitely not my favorite out of everything, but it's cool. I like that he has this mode, and it's Double Dealer. He's supposed to have this mode. It'd be weird if he didn't have it. And I'm sorry that that was such a mess. But yeah, there we go. There is bird mode. And now for size comparisons again. Here we go. Got Voyager, the equivalent of a Deluxe, Samus, and then Vehicle Mode Deluxe, so you can see that this is getting pretty big. And it's only going to get bigger. Alright. Let's get all of you out of here. Out of here. And bring in the other comparison we were talking about. Earthrise, Double Dealer. And as much crap as people give this figure, I feel like they pulled off the bird mode a little bit better. Not just because purple wings and like the wings aren't essential to the vehicle mode, but I don't know, I like the additional options you get with this. Like the posability is both more limited and less limited with this guy. Because you do get the rotation, you get up and down, you can kind of accordion it, so you've got lots of options for that. You got the opening mouth, as you can see for both of them, but also you get a little bit of like, if you want to play around with it, you can get some in and out motion on the legs. So they do peg into the arms to solidify that, but you could transform it a bit to get a little bit more articulation out of it. But then of course the wings are they just do that and that and that. So yeah. But also this guy is a lot easier to transform. Also, you may notice Reaper labels on this guy. This was a lot. All these feathers, just individual stickers on both sides. And yeah, but I love Earthrise Double Dealer, so I didn't mind doing that. But anyway, there is Double Agent with Double Dealer. And finally, the most important size comparison of them all. Here is, back in a little bit more, here is Double Agent with the Duck Tank. Okay, now it's time for why did I do this to myself? So, I'm gonna take off the little missile bits. Now, it's the same deal to transform this for robot mode as it is with the bird mode, where you've got you separate the missile, you keep this tab down, and then that just goes off to the side. This back half of the missile, you fold down this bit to become a handle, and then pull out gun barrel. Put that off to the side. And now it's time for the thing. So we are going to get these wings kind of up and out of the way, close the bird mouth, then fold the little thing back down. Let's take care of the bird legs. So, gonna fold these forward, rotate these back, pull down arms to get them out of the way, and rotate this around so that we can start to rotate this. So you want to fold in the toes, fold in the foot, fold in the heel, and then rotate this all back around this way and push that through. Now, remember we extended the leg for the bird mode. You want to keep that extended for the robot mode, but you do want to fold this back in. And then this folds around, and I'm just going to take that out of the way. This folds around, and then this slides in like that. It's a slight thing, but it does slide in. Now we can take this double hinge, bring this up, and settle the arm into place. Then we'll just rotate the bicep around, and while we're at it, let's flip this open, fold out the fist, flip that closed, and rotate the fist around. Same deal over here. Going to keep the wings kind of up and out of the way. Going to rotate this back around so we've got the clearance, and then fold in toe, fold in foot, fold in heel, and then fold the entire assembly around. Rotate this around, keep this bit extended, hold that in, and then slide that in. Bring that up and around so that the arm is in place. Rotate the bicep, pop that open, flip the fist around, rotate it, set up. And there we've got the arms. Now we can we keep this like this. We're going to go to the special robot mode first. So you're going to rotate this 180 degrees because you want these skirts facing forward. The best way to remember it is there's one set of skirts that has this extra hinge so that it can fold forward for the bird mode. These can only do like the typical flappy thing. They can't fold forward like that. So you want the ones that can't fold forward facing forward for this robot mode. Now, I'm going to, well, should take care of this. So fold this up, swing that around, fold that up, swing that around. So those are out of the way. Now we can split the legs, give them a little click, just so that they're out of the, out of the way a little bit. Now, want to keep this kind of out of the way so that we can rotate it back to vehicle mode. Then want to take this whole thing like we did for knock to get knock in there. Just open that up and swing this. Actually, before we swing it, we actually want to open this door. Let's swing this out. And getting this door through this section can be a little tricky. You may want to bring the leg out a little bit more. But swing that around like so. And there we go. This can fold back in. Now you want to rotate the leg so that this is tricky to remember, but like because there's so many different rotations, but you want these circles facing what will be the back. So rotate those around. Then rotate at the knee so that the top of the vehicle is pointed forward. Take this flap and instead of curling it around like we did before, fold it in all the way, and fold that up, and that will clean up the leg. And close this panel back up. Bring this back down so that it's now in foot orientation, and then rotate the foot around, and that gives us a leg. Come on, Finley, get out of here. After that, let's see, now we're going to do the same thing here. So we want to, I know this is a mess, I'm so sorry. Want to rotate, I'll bring it out a little bit more, rotate this around so that it's in vehicle mode orientation. Pop this up so that we can swing, also get this door. Pop this up so we can swing all of that around. Rotate this so that those dots are pointed back. And we'll close this up while we're at it. Then rotate this. Get the foot oriented properly. Fold that in, rotate it around. There we go. There we have the legs for the alternate robot mode. Now you want to take the wings and bring them down, and this thing can kind of, this bit gets in the way. I do wish that this could fold up somehow. Like, it seems like you should be able to just fold it back up into its vehicle mode orientation, and you can, but it doesn't fit because of this little nubbin here. Like, you can't really, like, it's pushing this out, and that's not good. I don't want to break anything. So yeah, you're just kind of stuck with this facing out, but can get that kind of out of the way and bring down the wings. And we'll just straighten this hinge out, just kind of bring it in at an angle, just like that. And around here, same deal. And so you bring this down, bring this down. And there's actually a rotational hinge here, so you can rotate that a little bit to adjust how the wings display. You can kind of see where this is going, I think. Get that all situated. Okay. Now, home stretch. I want to take the chest piece and bring that up, and there's little flaps in here. You fold those out, and you don't want to fold them out completely. You basically have to hinge them a very specific way. It's not complicated, you just have to do it like that. You want the gray piece going straight down, and then the red piece going out. And that will line everything up, so you can bring this up, and these little tabs here will tab into these little slots on the red flaps. So accordion that in, push that in, and that gives him his chest piece. I also believe you're supposed to pop this panel out and flip it around and then push it back in, and that will give you like a spot for Decepticon logo and all that, but I just can't be bothered. But there is that. Also, while we're here, let's just unplug this real quick. Let's take Skarr and plug Skarr into the tummy and plug that back together, because this is the Decepticon humanoid robot mode. And lastly, take this little flap thing and fold that up so that it's not covering the eyes. And there we go. There is Double Agent in his alternate robot mode, and it's fine for what it is. It's a little awkward, but it's also a brand new mode that they didn't even have to do, and I appreciate that they did it. And it looks cool. I'll go over the detailing more when we get to the proper robot mode. I'll just go over like the differences here, but yeah, I think this is cool. I like that you have a thing that you can do with like the Skarr Power Master. In terms of like actual different detailing, it's just that like the legs are oriented a little differently. So this would be the outside of the leg normally, but now it's the front. And you've got that flip around panel for the chest, and the head is a little bit narrow. He's wearing the bird head as like a hat, but I kind of like that because the bird mode was supposed to be the Decepticon mode as far as I remember, so I think it works incorporating the bird design into the Decepticon robot mode. And yeah, it's a good sculpt. I like that they went with a metallic purple face to kind of set it apart even further from the regular Double Dealer face. And yeah, I don't know, it looks good. The articulation, it's on a ball joint, so you get some nice tilt up and down and rotation. It's just the same as the bird head. And we'll go over the rest of the articulation when we get to the proper robot mode, because it's pretty much the same. But yeah, there's that. And for accessory storage, you can take the missile, and we get these little flaps out of the way. This can plug in the same way it plugged in on the back of the bird. Let's get these folded down and rotate these a little bit, because I think these might be blocking the missile a little bit. Let's just see here. Okay. So with all that out of the way, this will plug in back here. Hard to see, but that is plugged in. So that gives him a different place to store the missile, which I appreciate. And then the gun does the thing that a lot of Vans Hobby stuff does. They crib that thing from Make Toys, which I love. They've got the kind of T tab on the handle and the little T slot in the hand or in the palm. So when you extend the fingers, you just slide the tab and slot together, and then like even with the hand open, that's not going anywhere. And it is a wonderful system, and I really hate that so few companies use it. There we go. There is Double Agent as a baddie humanoid robot, and he's cool for what he is. Now, The reason I went with that guy first is because the leg transformation is identical to what you do with Huntsman. Main difference being that with Huntsman, when you're in vehicle mode, you're oriented like this. You want to rotate the upper body around 180 degrees. But yeah, it's the same way you do the legs, and like these bits don't do anything, they're just there. But the upper body is different, so I wanted to cover the upper body. So you want to unplug the radar dish and unplug the missiles from the top parts of the wheel wells, just the top. You don't need to unplug all of them. Now these actually plug in over this bit here, so you can unplug them from there and rotate these up, and that will get them out of the way for the rest of the transformation. Next, you take these panels and you just you can rotate this around all the way. These panels can come down, and a lot of this is similar to Double Agent, but a little bit different. Like the panel orientation is a little different. I'm just straightening these out up here. So bring this out, bring this out. And this also kind of shows you a little bit of how going to robot mode from vehicle mode works. So you got that. Now you want to take these bits here. You want to pop these out because unfortunately you, again, can't leave them tabbed in, which really sucks. As you can see, like, it just doesn't have the room. So bring that out just to get it out of the way. And then straighten that out, and then bring this down just to get out of the way. The arms, as before, will just go all the way around and settle in. There is no thing that you need to extend here. You don't need to extend anything to give yourself more room. I don't even think that joint is in here. Yeah, there is no extension joint here. As you can see, there is still other joints, but yeah, do that. Rotate this down. Rotate this around. Pop this open and flip out the fist. And get that rotated and oriented and put the fingers open. Now, in case you're curious, the reason why you don't need to slide anything back on this, but you do on Double Agent, is there are normally wheels here, and there's no clearance for the arm with the wheels there. But because the wheels are now up here, you don't have to worry about that clearance. So that's why there's no sliding joint. Anyway, bring this down, rotate it around, bring out the fist. And there we go. Okay. Now before doing the chest, you want to do the head. And the head is actually how you handle Double Agent. You want to pop this out, which can be a little bit tricky. It's something about this. It's just like it's very stiff. It doesn't want to pop out. So I end up using a spudger to kind of leverage this out, because it pegs in very securely. But yeah, it just snaps in up there, so I just kind of yanked that. So pull that down as far as it'll go. It'll actually go between the bits on the chest plate there. Pull this panel out, slides out a little bit. Rotate that around 180 degrees, slide it back in, then bring this back up and snap that into place. And the chest panel is the same as with Double Agent, where you just bring these little bits out and you orient them in the same way. So you want to have them really... There we go. So you just want to have them kind of 90 degrees like that, and then this comes in and will peg in there. But also want to take his version of knock and plug him in there. Then we can close that up. There we have that done. And now we can do the backpack. So this is kind of a mess, but you want to take this here fold that in, that tabs in, same on this side. This whole thing comes down, and basically you want to hinge this out like that. Hinge this back around like that. Get that out of the way there. And then this piece kind of settles into the center like that. Thing is, you've got these extra bits, and I find the thing to do is you can peg these into these larger slots there. So just peg it in like that, and then bring it in. And then I just kind of angle this out a little bit because you need the room to fit the other one, but it all works out in the end. So got that. Same deal here. Just gonna straighten this out. That out of the way. Bring that out. Bring this around. I'm hoping that's on camera. Peg this in here. And then we can pop this down, just kind of situate it as needed. And put that in. Just a little bit. And yeah, it is unfortunate that you have to take those little missiles off in order to do the transformation, but you do have to, because the thing is, if the missiles were to stay in place, then there wouldn't be any way to fold these in, because they would be like in that little spot there, and there's just no room for them. Even though they're not that big, there's just not gonna fit. So there goes the backpack. And there is Huntsman in robot mode, but we will be taking a look at him in a bit more detail when we finish transforming Double Agent. And yeah, this is such a mess. Okay, I'm just gonna take the gun out of his hand and remove the missile for the time being. Okay, so gonna undo. Actually, first thing I'm gonna do, so I don't forget, is pop this panel back. Pop this panel. Really? You're really gonna do this to me? Pop this panel back out. Put it back how I'm going to keep it forever, because I don't want to forget. Now, I'm going to open this up, pop out Skarr, and they're really good. Pop out Skarr, and instead, I'm going to pop in Knock. Oh wait, actually that's right. We can't pop in Knock yet, because for some reason they did a Headmaster or Power Master gimmick that doesn't make sense, because it only affects whether or not you can put certain Power Masters in. The Power Masters themselves don't actually do anything. They just won't fit in certain circumstances. So instead we're going to bring this down. Let's do the legs first. So the legs are really simple. You just rotate at the thigh so that this joint is pointed forward. Then take this piece here, and that actually folds in. We didn't do that for any of the other modes because this is needed to give the knee clearance for the Autobot robot mode. But yeah, so we do that, fold that down, and the legs are very simple, and then just rotate the feet so that you've got a more standard double dealer orientation like that. And I'll just hold the wings up and out of the way so that we can rotate the waist 180 degrees. And there we go. We've got proper double dealer lower body. The head, you want to extend that, hold that piece down, untab this, rotate this, and this will just sit down here along the back, kind of tucked inside all this. don't think there's a specific way to rotate the bird head. So there's that. Now, I want to, again, unpeg this, rotate this all the way down, pull this piece out, rotate this around 180 degrees, push back in, and bring this up, and it will once again click into place there. Then this whole thing can come up and tab in, but before it does, we're going to take knock, plug him in, because now he fits. Again, I don't know why the gimmick is, oh, it doesn't fit until you do this. It just seems kind of backwards compared to what the gimmick originally was and like the toys that these are meant to be evoking. So yeah, there we've got proper double dealer except for the backpack. So for the backpack, we want to take the wings and use this joint to rotate them 180 degrees. Then bring this down. And this can just kind of settle in like that. This piece comes down like that. This folds, I think it's like that. This goes like that. Okay. So, you want to just kind of bring that down. This piece folds in here. This piece folds around here. And then this will angle down like that. This will angle down like that. Now this swings 180 degrees. This comes in, this swings out, and this just settles back like that. And then this piece can rotate like that to make the rest of the backpack. And it's not pretty, but it gets the job done. Same deal here. I'm gonna actually raise the camera up to make sure it stays on camera this time. So, swing this around 180 degrees. Fold this in here, and this in here, and this in here. Bring this down. So this all will accordion in. Fold this down. Accordion all that in. Fold that down. Bring this back like that. And then this, there we go. And then this folds around like that. And that's, that is the backpack. And I don't know what's going on. Like, this is something I've had an issue with ever since I got this figure. This particular armature for the wing just does not like to stay down. Like, it goes into place, but it doesn't stay there. It has a tendency to pop up, and it's just really kind of annoying. But anyway, there we have Fan's Hobby Double Agent with his backpack and everything in robot mode. And yeah, this is it's an incredibly cool figure. It's just a shame that certain things don't tab in as well as they could have. Like that backpack really, I feel like, could have been engineered a little differently. I get it, they wanted to do a lot of different things with it, but like that is a lot considering. You can do other stuff with it to kind of clean it up a bit, and it's also kind of essential if you want to try and store Skarr, because there is no way to store Skarr, which just seems so ridiculous to me, because like you've got all this real estate back here. You couldn't just put some little tab slots for Skarr somewhere so that he could like tab in to be out of the way. Nope. But anyway, yeah, talking about the robot mode, because I'm just all over the place at this point. The robot does look great. You do have a silver face option, but I am a bit of a double dealer purist, so I kept the blue face on. I was actually not sure about getting this figure until I saw that he was coming with a blue face, so there's that. But yeah, the detailing is great. You can see more of the stickers that I put on there, like here and here, and the thighs, and the shoulders, and the little chest vents. Again, not necessary, but I like them because they give him just a little bit more of that G1 toy flair. The color breakup is excellent. I like Double Dealer's color layout. It's classic Double Dealer colors with the darker green for the shins and feet, lighter turquoise for the thighs, the gray for the midsection, the turquoise and red for the chest, the darker green for the upper arms, the black for the lower arms, blue face. It's all there, and it is glorious. And I also, of course, love the half vehicle facing forward with the wheels design for this particular orientation of the legs. It is interesting how they sculpted the thighs to accommodate that. Like, you can kind of see that they taper a little bit here rather than being flat like they are here, and that's to make room for this whole thing. So like it's clever what they did. And based on which mode you're using for robot mode, you've got this knee or this knee. So yeah, they did a lot of really clever stuff with this. They just, could have done a bit more in a few places, in my opinion. Like these arms don't tab in, so you can easily move them out of place. On the plus side, it gives you a really easy to use butterfly motion, but it doesn't tap in. And as you saw with the bird mode, the arms don't tap into anything. And the backpack doesn't tap together, it just sits there. And also that one armature piece just does not stay in place. But anyway, again, sculpting is great. You've got the Power Master in the tummy, which works really well. And yeah, he's a very cool fellow. Now, this has gone on for so long, let's just go straight to the head. So, the head it's Double Dealer. It's got the classic design minus the Mickey Mouse ears that were used to hold the missile in the original toy. I love this design. I love the matte black plastic they used. Like, you get a little bit of a silver head crest paint there. Again, the blue face is fantastic. I also like that the face has those lines right around the cheeks. I don't know. I like that. And the metallic red eyes look great on the blue and the black surrounding it. It's got the little robot chin beard shape. It's all good. It's a really good head sculpt. And I don't know that he really needs any kind of specific expression because I'm not sure about Double Dealer personality-wise, but it's a good head sculpt. Looks really good. The colors are really good. And as you can see, it's pretty expressive. The articulation on this guy is pretty on point. The head is on a ball joint like the other head, so you can get some up and down, some side to side, and full rotation. Unfortunately, this is as up as he can look. It's barely up, and that stinks. But it is what it is. The arms can go around, and they're on ratchets. So, very snug there, which is good. They can go out to almost 90. Got a very snug bicep swivel, but it's there. As mentioned, you've got a butterfly motion if you use that transformation joint, which does disconnect the arm from the body, but I imagine in subtle applications it could work pretty well. You have a double jointed elbow that gets you pretty much as much elbow as you're going to want. The hands can rotate at the wrist. Then you've got finger articulation. The fingers are all pinned in 2 locations. So all 4 fingers have 2 different joints. And then the thumb, 3 different joints. I didn't realize that, I didn't realize there was a 3rd joint there. So 3 different joints on each finger. And the thumb is on a ball joint at the base. Just a ball joint at the base, so you don't get any added outward motion here, but this other piece is jointed. And I feel like the finger thing may not have been on camera, I'm so sorry. But yeah, the fingers have 3 joints. You've got kind of base knuckle joint, the inner joint, and then the fingertip joint. So nice, expressive fingers. The upper body articulation, you do actually have an ab crunch. Unfortunately, because of how this is constructed, you kind of have to pop the chest plate up a bit in order to get that click to work the ab crunch, and it's just the one click, but it is there. And once you get that ab crunch going, you can push this back in, so that works. You get a waist rotation that can go around, but you do have this thing to contend with, so you can kind of pull that up and out of the way. Also, using the ab crunch helps to get it out of the way. The hip skirts on the front can go up, down, wiggle a little bit, and also wiggle like this. The back hip skirts, that's pretty much the same deal. They just can rotate around to get out of the way. With these out of the way, the hips can go very stiff ratchets. Forward to almost 90. Backwards to almost 90. Or forwards and backwards if you're doing the other robot mode. You get outward motion past 90. It's a very, very stiff ratchet. You get a thigh rotation that can go all the way around. You get a rotation both below and above the knee, all the way around. It depends on the orientation for robot mode. And then for the knee, that can bend ever so slightly past 90 degrees. Let's get this all oriented again. Okay, and then the feet, you get foot rotation, you get tilt, you get some up and down motion. If you really want, you can use the transformation joint for added ankle tilt, but the problem with that is if you pull it out too far, it can affect stability, particularly if you're going for like more subtle standing poses. So if you're, and also that joint too, you can use this joint there. So like you really kind of want to make sure that all those joints are flat in the leg before you start messing around with like to get it standing straight. You want to make sure they're all flat, but you can use them for other posing potential. And yeah, it is a fairly well articulated, super cool figure that sure does have some downsides to it, but all things considered, like I don't really mind the downsides, honestly. Like it sounds like I'm, miserable about it, but no, I actually think this figure is incredible. It's just like I'm still baffled by some of the decisions that they made. Oh, and I'm just gonna give him his gun like we did with Huntsman, or not Huntsman, like we did with the other robot mode. It's the same deal, just slides into the hand. And then for the missile, there's these little spots up here that this section can tab into, so you just pop that in there. It's not a super secure connection at all, but it holds in just fine. It's not going to like come out when you shake it or anything. And you can also angle it back a little bit because of the joint in there. So yeah, this is a pretty freaking cool double dealer, even with my gripes. I just wish that like certain things could hold together a little bit better, or that there were, like maybe the backpack was a little cleaner, that the that like some of the other stuff held together a little bit better. Actually, this video is so long, it's going to be 2 hours by the time I'm done. Also want to talk a little bit about storing Skarr. So I saw this on TFW. I forget who shared this, but it was brilliant. Basically, you can fold this stuff out of the way. Take Skarr, and Skarr can just kind of sit back here. Get these out of the way. Skarr can get tucked back here. It doesn't peg in, but like you can tuck him back here and then fold these flaps in to kind of secure him. And these can also kind of come in. And then these fold around to close all that off. And that will give you a place to store Skarr, which is unofficial and a little bit messy, but hey, it gets the job done. There we go. I'll orient these hinges just slightly differently. But yeah, it cleans up the backpack a little bit too. It's not hanging down as far, and like, yeah, it gets rid of Skarr. So now Skarr is being stored, and you don't have to worry about that. Let's move him off to the side because we do still have to talk about Huntsman. And I'm just going to do the accessories on Huntsman like right away. So same deal with Huntsman. You can take the gun, slide it into the hand, close up fingers, and all that. You've got the missile tip that can come out. You've got the little tab there. It tabs in the same way it does on Double Dealer. So you got that. And you also have the radar dish, which plugs in along the top there, same way as the missile. So just plug that in there. And there we go. There we have Huntsman. And yeah, this is super cool. I love this thing. Like I said before, the mold is great. I really like the mold, and I need to orient the legs the way I like to do them. Back. Back, and then do the tab crunch. There we go. So yeah, it's a really cool mold, and I'm glad that Fans Hobby did this. I also am really glad they did one in Stalker colors, because I'd been wanting to get an original Stalker figure for quite some time. But they're so expensive and hard to find complete. See, he's not quite standing correctly. I'm not sure what is going on here. That seems a little more stable. Okay, so yeah, finding a complete Stalker is just kind of prohibitively expensive. Finding a non-complete Stalker is also kind of prohibitively expensive, but I will take Double Agent in Stalker colors with the redesigned head. Absolutely. And this looks really cool. It's basically just the upper body of the Autobot mode with the lower body of the Decepticon mode. But like, it's, I don't know, just the colors work really well, the design works really well, because there's a missile truck, so it makes sense that they turned the missile truck into this. Love the color breakup. The blues, the pinks, the greens are spectacular. And like the blacks in there are also really nice. It's a really cool figure and a cool design. And the head sculpt on Huntsman is also kind of its own special thing, because they did remold the head, as you can see. And it's like similar to Double Agent's head in shape. Very, very similar. Why do you want to keep falling back? I don't understand. Okay. Similar shape. The actual, the head itself, I believe, is actually almost identical, if not actually identical. Yeah. Yeah, looking at it, the head is, like, the actual helmet shape is identical to Double Agent. They're like the same exact helmet. It's the face that's different. But it's a really good face, and I love that they, just a little bit of red there with that new face and the gold faceplate with the bright green visor. It looks so good. It is excellent. And articulation-wise, he's exactly the same as Double Agent. So I'm not going to go over it again because we literally just went over it. But since we've got them both here, let's do that side by side. So you can see there is Double Agent with Huntsman, and like, it's so wild to me that these are the same, basically the same figure, because there's enough different here that I feel like, aside from the guns and the shoulder missiles being the same, I feel like you may not even realize how different they are, or how they're the same thing. I just really like that. Again, like, the colors on this are fantastic, but then he's got the triple changing mode, so it's like, which do you go with, Fortunately, I was able to do both, but yeah. Anyway, let's get you out of here, Huntsman. Thank you very much for contributing to this video. I finally did it. I finally talked about Huntsman. But we still have some other comparisons to make. And yeah, this guy is big. It's a fan's hobby figure, so of course he's big. Here we go with the various size comparisons that we do here. So you can see that he is quite tall. Which, again, makes sense, because fans' hobby is not... There are a lot of things, but they're not subtle. In these particular cases, anyway. And here, we'll bring in Earthrise Double Dealer. And, yeah, like, obviously there are some big differences between the two, not just the size, but, like, proportions, the overall design. But, like, they hit a lot of the same notes. And they're just fun figures in their own way. Like Earthrise Double Dealer, I find more of a fun toy to mess with. Not that this guy's bad, but like, this guy has a little bit of added complexity, nuance, and let's say fiddliness to some of his transformation, whereas Earthrise Double Dealer, aside from the bird mode leg shrinkage thing, is really straightforward. Oh, and Earthrise Double Dealer does more with the Power Masters. Like, if you want to store Skarr, you just flip out the little peg and peg him into the back there. That's all you have to do to store Skarr. If you want to use Knock, you can open this up, put Knock in there, put Knock in there, and then close it back up, and like, there you go. Or if you want to do what I've been doing, which I talked about in the video for this guy way back when. Get out of there. You can unpeg this little piece and keep this flipped around like that. And then take Knock and flip out that peg this piece in there, and that gives you like an actual Power Master engine thing going, and they just put him in there, and now you've got Earthrise Double Dealer with that. And I just, he's got some fun options. So yeah. But again, I do have to admit, this is the superior figure. There's really no denying that. I just have a little bit more fun with Earthrise Double Dealer. And yeah, that is going to do it for that. So let's bring in our final size comparison. Here he is with the Duck Tank. Okay, this has been almost 2 straight hours of recording. I'm hoping it will be shorter by the time I'm finished, but oh my goodness. Yeah. This figure is great. I mean, I'm really digging Fans Hobby. I've been digging Fans Hobby since I got Double Evil. I think Double Evil was actually my first Fans Hobby figure. So, heck of a place to start, right? But I do really like their Double Agent and, by extension, Huntsman. It's a really cool design. It's like a hefty, solid feeling figure. Weirdly, they didn't get rid of the bird tail pieces on the insides of the legs there, but they still painted the detail there. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it's just, they're both great figures. I would say if you can get Huntsman, go with Huntsman, but you're not, let's be real, you're not going to be able to get Huntsman, and I'm sorry for that. But this guy, Double Agent, in either the A or the B design with the purple wings or the wings that I have, is great. It is just a cool, hefty toy that looks great on the shelf and is gigantic, and I love it. And I'm going to stop talking now. So that is going to do it. I've gone on for way too long. Thank you everybody so much for watching and sticking around if you stuck around this long. As always, let me know what you think of either of these figures or Earthrise Double Dealer or anything else really in the comments down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And I think next time I'm going to go with something a little bit simpler.